Oh.
Sorry, were you talking to me?
No. Yeah. So you stop that as soon as we're done. Then you stop
Yes.
that, and then does it go back into like regular programming?
Yeah. So he's
There.
got it automated.
Oh,
Yep. So it just
sweet.
picks back up his new whatever's scheduled next. So yeah, it'll be. It's not too bad. Pretty smooth.
Yeah. Rennie asked if we get a holiday for Good Friday. No. Well,
I do.
you do.
Yeah.
Banks do.
Banks. Oh, yeah. I guess they do, don't they?
I work for a corporation here in Omaha that does.
I'm working tomorrow. In fact, I'm doing a podcast tomorrow, theme Thursday, or called The Coach tomorrow. So now we're working. I called it Big Friday the other day.
Fat Friday.
Fat Friday,
like,
big deal.
I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, yeah. And then on Big Friday, and people just started cracking up, and I was like, oh, I just insulted him.
Well, especially because it's a fasting day for Christians, so technically it's probably a skinny Friday, if anything. But
Welcome to Big Friday.
yeah,
Yeah, well.
exactly.
Kevin, good work on all this stuff.
That was
Thank you.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I learned a lot tonight.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I'm tempted to look at the McAfee product now.
I think it's worth a look, and then you got to make that decision yourself, right?
Especially if you got a lot of systems to install it on, you're gonna, having that central console is almost worth it right there.
Bitdefender has kind of a central console too that you can, once you install it, put your email address in for all of them, then you can go to a PC and bring it up in their website, and it will give you where it's installed. And it's not as robust. I didn't look at it and go, wow, this is a great dashboard. But it was a dashboard, of some sort.
Yeah, no, it's. I think more of them are going to that centralized feature kind of function, and makes life a little easier to manage all these systems and stay on top of them.
Well, that's the thing, right? Now it's even worse. I mean, first we had PCs; they at least stayed home. Then we went to laptops, and they were a little more mobile. And now phones are never used at home, right? I mean,
Right.
and so we're the manage, and we have more of them, right? I mean, think about it. The average family had one PC and maybe a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a short period of time where most people had laptops, and now everybody's got a phone. My 14-year-old has a phone. Well, she's 16, but my 16-year-old has a phone. She had one when she was 14. And you think, as a dad, man, I got to kind of keep track of these things,
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you guys seen this? I just went to Bitdefender's site. They have a thing called a box, which is
Yes.
Internet of Things protection. It
Yes.
monitors your network and controlled from your phone.
Yeah, how much is that?
I don't know, $199,
Okay.
and then you have to pay $100 a year.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up when we were talking. You mentioned Sophos and PFSense
UTM.
and some of those kinds of things. I was going to bring that up, and I figured that was going to go into a rat hole if just go deep, but we were running out of time. But I do think we're going to have to move to that kind of router and a protection model in the average home, because we're just going to have so many things connected
Mm-hmm.
that.
Well, and that's and so one of the guys that works for me is one of my managers who manages our security team. I love the way he puts it, because on one hand, so I've done a lot of home automation stuff. So in my house now, in addition to my Ethernet and wireless Ethernet and my Sophos mesh Ethernet, I've got Zigbee and Z-Wave and all these other protocols. And not that they'd be kind of tough to hack, but they are on my home network, because Zigbee and Z-Wave from my light switches and different things talks to my SmartThings hub, which then gets on the network. And the Davitt, one of my managers, does a great job of talking about, I don't care what the devices are. What I'm really looking at is the fact that all of this stuff is on the network in some fashion. So if something is coming into the network, that I got to know where it is, I got to know what it is, I got to know what's going on. So the whole intrusion detection, access control, and I can see a point in time where having a separate hub for SmartThings and a separate hub for your home just comes together, because it's all networking.
Well, that would make sense, right? I was on Home On episode 45. So if this ever makes it out into a recording, whatever, you head over to there to just Google that Home On 45. Richard was interviewing me. We were talking about home automation products, and we talked about a door lock now that is automated through a hub, and you can send commands to lock it and unlock it. It's August. That's the company, just like the month August. And Richard was a little like, I'm okay with lights and temperature and even a internet-connected fridge, but a lock, if that's on my Wi-Fi, and he kind of said, I'm not savvy enough to know I've got my Wi-Fi completely locked down. Could somebody drive by, hack into the Wi-Fi, unlock my door? Think about that.
Well, maybe router manufacturers will start making it really simple to set up VLANs, where you have a VLAN for your Internet of Things and a VLAN for your computers. But then you run into the problem of compatibility, and that doesn't touch the Zigbee Z-Wave connections. This box looks pretty cool, though. I mean, it sounds like very similar to what Sophos UTM does, only in a prepackaged commercial solution.
Yeah, just plug it in and run it.
Yeah, it scans what comes in and out of the network to. I don't know if it would alleviate the need for something installed on your endpoints, but certainly help aid that.
I think it all helps,
Well, and how great would it be if on your endpoints it had the right version that worked with that, and then that was your central. You would log in to view your, or maybe your phone then gets the notifications from the box if anything is detected, because that's today. That is the right place for notifications, right? You need to go to your phone. That's just where they need to be. We were talking about internet-connected fridges, right? And they're like their use case. Some engineer was like, "Well, hey, you could log in through your phone and change the temperature of your fridge." Kevin, how many times have you ever changed the temperature of your fridge?
Only when I'm reaching for something on the top shelf and I bump it, and then later I go, "Why is the milk warm?"
I know.
That's the only time.
Nobody changes that, right? That's an engineer solving a problem that nobody has, right? But that being said, we talked a little bit about, what I think really where this fits in is in an inventory, and then, and then Richard was really skeptical about that. He's like, who is really, you pull the milk out, you scan it on the way out, you put it back in, you scan it on the way in. It's got to sit on maybe it sits on a weight or a measuring area so it can tell how full or empty the milk is or whatever. He's equally skeptical. He's like, nobody's going to use that. It's going to be too complicated. It's going to be too hard. Nobody, type deal. I think the Echo is one of those things that would be nice, because then you can just say, hey, I'm out of milk, and Echo immediately says here's your inventory downstairs, or whatever in my case, or okay, I'm gonna order for you, we'll have it we'll have somebody delivered at 3 p.m. or whatever. That's where the Echo comes in and can be really handy.
Did you get your Echo yet?
No, end of the month.
Okay. Yeah. We were over at a friend's house, very very big Amazon Prime user, and when you talk about you're having a show with you and your wife, I think the Echo might be an interesting one with that, because my friend Dean really he likes it. It's good for what he wants. His wife's very disappointed with it. So I'm saying, well, what didn't you like about it? Well, of course, Dean is asking it all the Amazon-centric questions. And the first thing she asked it was, hey, it's Saturday about 5 o'clock. Hey, what are the local movie listings? And it didn't know how to answer that. And I thought about it, and that is, that's a great question. That is the kind of thing. And of course, I asked Ubi that, and Ubi has no idea what the local movie listings are either. But to me, that's the difference between what we're thinking from a tech point of view and how our spouses look at this from, well, you tell me this is a way to get information. This is the information I'd like to get. And so I think we need to think things around Echo more in those terms. But absolutely, with your refrigerator thing, that's the first thing I thought of is, I've got Ubi set up to dump straight into Evernote, and it'd be a whole lot easier to be in the kitchen putting the milk jug back and just holler out, I'll give it a try. We'll see if it works. Okay, Ubi, Add to shopping list, milk.
Opening up shopping list, milk.com.
She got it. There we go. So, to your point, the echo kind of aspect, and the demos I've seen with voice recognition on Windows 10, I think kind of gets us there too, of this idea of talking to our computers just as a notepad or a way to write stuff down. I think is kind of a big plus as well.
Chris in chat, Chris Harwell had said, Jim, don't be confused. Security systems and home automation are separate. Don't have your head in the sand thinking that someone couldn't just kick the door in. At least you'll know when that happens. And and there's locks are for honest people, right?
Yep.
From that standpoint, if someone's going to get in, it doesn't matter what kind of home security you have. They're gonna get in. They're gonna, gonna find a way around it. I was thinking on those lock deals. We've got we have a keypad on our back door, and it's got 10 digits, and you can program, different 4-digit combinations. So the goal was we didn't want to give the kids keys because they lose the keys.
Yep.
So we'd give them a combo. We set up different pins for each one of the kids, including our own, and that still works today, and that was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think those locks are more for convenience. So you're at work, but you have a contractor coming over that you're going to let in. So the contract shows up the door, ding dong, get a notification on your phone. It immediately brings up a picture of your front door, right? And you see it's the contractor, and you're like, oh, cool, because your remote camera has captured that. And then you say you talk to them. Okay, I'm going to unlock the door for you, and it sends the unlock command out there.
So I have on our front door I have a Schlage, and on the mudroom door I have a Schlage. To your point, the keypads are great from being able to punch in and out, and then but to your point, that was, so we're on vacation, happened to be the week that our cleaning lady comes, and it's an easy way for me to, we're out of town, it's Thursday, I wonder if she locked the door. I can just grab my phone and look at it and say, yeah, the front door's locked. And, so it is kind of that, as well as, I did have a case where next door neighbor called me to let me know there was a big package, wanted to know if he should take it over to his house because it looked like it was going to rain. And I said, well, hang on, let me unlock the door for you. And I hit the button and it unlocked. He put it in, closed the door, locked it back up again. So yeah, I do think it's convenience, but it's also the no factor of, did I close the garage door? Yeah, the sensor says it's closed. Did I lock the front door of the house? Yep, the sensor says it's locked. So I think those are all kind of the positive aspects of knowing what's going on in your house.
Nathaniel, you've done some upgrades, right? Talk a little bit about what you've done with your home automation.
Well, I just got started around the holidays, and I tried. I've been always listening to Home On and others, trying to learn about what I might use, and I had an old security system that was installed when we first bought the house, and then quit that. But so I was interested in something that I could get that would work with the thermostats and not have to pay a monthly fee to just check the temperature and set some schedules. So I first tried the Wink system from Home Depot, and it couldn't talk to the thermostat, so I promptly returned it. And then I tried Smart Things, and that connected up. I looked on their line, and they listed the thermostats I have, which are a white box called Radio RT or CT50, pretty simple things. And those worked with Smart Things right away. So I thought, well, this is working. So I just have a few things. I got an open-close sensor, motion sensor, and the thermostats and a presence sensor. I bought one of their starter kits, and it's actually worked really nicely. So I can, set the schedule so that when we go away, the heat goes down in the winter, and then when my son gets home, whatever time that is, his little presence sensor triggers the thermostat to go back up. So it's worked well. I can check the thermostats. I don't have a lot of scripts or anything fancy running, but just having that visibility is real nice.
So you guys would be good people to ask then. Apple focused a lot when they did their Apple announcement, and it was all, they had this big thing on the watch. You can control your garage door and do the exact things you guys were just talking about, having a webcam, open the garage door. But I thought to myself, I don't think I would ever use a wearable to accomplish those tasks. I think I would go to my phone or my computer. Would you guys ever run those sort of home automation from your wearable?
Not run it, but I think one of the big things with wearables is, so today, if you walk around your house, so think about what you want to do in your house. A big one is turning lights on and off as you go through the house. So people have motion sensors for that. Well, the problem with the motion sensor is if I sit down and start reading the paper, does it not sense me anymore and the lights go off? So do I use my phone as a presence sensor? Well, I don't carry my phone around the house with me all the time. But a wearable watch, I would probably have on all the time. So I'm almost seeing the watch as being a place for me to get information and perhaps control some stuff. But moreover, it's my presence sensor. So that knowledge that, and especially in Apple's world where they want to use the low power Bluetooth to do that, that's almost perfect from a range and knowing where you're at. So that's kind of where I see wearables going with that. I think that could be a big breakthrough in that of programming a room that, hey, when I come in this room, flip on this light, turn the TV on, do some things when I come in, and as long as I'm in the room, leave those things on. If I leave the room, turn those things off. So I think you can start building those logic into it just off your presence.
That's interesting. I didn't even think of it, because you're right. I mean, the phone you don't have on you all the time, but your watch would be a perfect device to be that sensor. Yeah. Very cool.
And Nathaniel, as you build stuff out, don't be shy about emailing me. I kind of did. I did volume purchasing around certain light switches and stuff from that point of view.
I do it slowly in spurts. I bought a couple of the Z-Wave switches, and the ones at Home Depot, the Levitons, work just fine.
Yep.
And I'm kind of doing it purposefully with my sons to give them just, hey, we're trying to solve a problem, and I don't have the answer. I don't know how to add a neutral wire, so we kind of troubleshoot together, and, one little, how can we figure this out problem. And so I have the front porch lights set to go on at sunset and then shut off at 11. So it's gradually turned on later and later. It used to be 5 o'clock. Now it doesn't turn on until after 7. So that's, one little goal I was trying to meet, and just tackle it slowly. But I struggle with the motion sensor switches. I put one in the storage room because it's a room that people walk in, they get something out of there and walk out. Nobody's in there for a long time. So we put a motion sensor so it turns on and turns off automatically. Now my boys want one in their bedroom so they don't have to remember to turn off the lights. And I totally understand, and I want it to, because I get so frustrated going, turn off the lights, you're not in here anymore. Oh, I forgot. But then I don't want to teach them that they never have to think about turning off a light. So
right.
It's a great idea. I mean, we do it in business, right? It's the LEED certification for a green building, is that every light turns on. That gets annoying at times. I've been sitting in my office working, and it doesn't pick up this as movement.
Yeah, you got to wave at it.
Especially in the middle of the winter when it's really dark. It gets dark about 5, and I might be working late, and all of a sudden, light goes off, and then you're like, oh, so then you wave, and it goes back on, and you get another 10 minutes or whatever that timer's on. So those can be a little awkward. This is interesting. When Home On 45 comes out, you might want to listen to it.
Yeah.
We talked about all these things. I kind of brought an average guy perspective to it as we talked about it. So a lot of these things that we talked about here, we talked about on Home On.
Yeah, I follow that one too.
Yeah, it was fun. That's the first time, believe it or not, that's the first time I've been on that show. Richard was like, I don't think, he goes, I've been on Home Server Show, and I've seen you at the meetups, but we've never gotten you on Home On. And so it was kind of fun. Tuesday morning, I took the day off anyways, and so he doesn't record it live, which is kind of fun. And he also edits the heck out of that thing. I was pretty glad that he did when I got done. I said, Richard, don't be afraid to leave a whole bunch of that on the cutting room floor. But it was fun to spend some time. And there's just, for me, man, home automation in the last year has come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was just one of those wake-ups, like, okay, because I've always been real hesitant to get into it. We talked about $50 switches. and you're like, yow, you
Yeah.
know, ugh,
You know what? It makes great gifts though. So
Mhm.
you add it to your Amazon wish list, and then you have a $40 price point, $50 price point gift for someone, and they're like, "Here's this Switch thing you wanted. I don't know what it is," and I'm like, "Great, one less I have to buy. That's awesome."
Yay! No, that's a great idea. Absolutely.
Hey, so these buttons from Amazon, they got some run in the chat room, and I thought they were an April Fool's gag, but
Same here.
I guess they're real.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Okay, and so the premise is, right, so I get this, it's essentially just a USB key, sort of, right? That's got a button. I know it's not USB, but
Oh.
it connects to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, so what do you know about these?
Yeah, so there's going to be an app or some way that you pretty much sync these buttons to your Wi-Fi, then they're connected, and so they're connected to a certain product. So the example they gave, and the one that I really want, is Tide washing detergent. So you stick it right on your washer, and once it's paired with your Wi-Fi, as soon as you're starting to run out, I'd say when you're 2 days from running out, you just press the button, and it loads it into your order cart, and it just orders it for you. And then until your shipment comes and is delivered, you can press that thing a million times. It's not gonna keep reordering. So that would save you from, I press the button, then my wife goes in there and she presses the button too. And yeah, it's just pretty much a very simple way to have your stuff. I think Amazon wants you to start ordering all your home products through them. So obviously this is a huge drive for them to start doing that. And they've always offered, I can't remember the name of the service, but they've always offered the discount on those recurring purchases that you would do.
Subscribe and save.
Yeah, subscribe and save. So I think this is kind of a build off on that. And what I want it for is I want it for like AA and AAA batteries, because no matter how many times I run out, I will always forget to get them when I go to the store. So if I can just press the button and have them delivered, it's things like that I think would be great. And if you're a Prime member and you have that free 2-day shipping anyway, if you can wait the 2 days, I think it's not a bad idea. So I'm excited. I signed up right away.
Amazon's scaling pricing these days, where, I mean, so 3 weeks ago, I put a post out, best $10 I ever spent was on one of those adapters, for your phone and your car, right? Guess what? Today I went out and looked, $14.99.
Yeah.
Right? I thought, to go from $8.99 to $14.99, that's a pretty big price increase, right?
Yeah.
And so with that sliding scale, what keeps? I mean, I would have to have some kind of guarantee that I'm getting the lowest price every time I push that button.
Oh,
Right?
you don't?
That's an excellent point.
I know, right?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
No, because you want convenience over price.
right. No,
If
I
you
get
cared
that.
about price, you would probably not buy Amazon.
I wouldn't use the button.
No, I haven't. I mean, I've watched stuff, that site Camel, where you can take an Amazon ID and it'll show you the trends in pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Camel.com.
Okay, I'll have to try. I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
did I.
just throw in the
We make
unique
jokes
ID.
about on Ask the Podcast Coach. These microphones, which you have one now, Nathaniel too, and Kevin, you've had various microphones.
Yep.
But these ATR 2100s, man, they're priced like IBM stock. They go up and they come back down, and they go up and they come back down, and it's you're like, so why that? I mean, we've seen them as cheap as $32, and they've gone all the way up to $79, and I wonder what they are today.
Yeah, I'm trying to look.
But camel, huh?
Yeah.
Amazon watches pricing extremely closely, and they shift their market accordingly. And sometimes it's crazy the way they shift their market. Back at Christmas time, my daughter wanted the Anki track. It's the remote-controlled cars that you drive them with your phones. And I ordered it from Amazon, and I don't remember there was an issue with the order. And I got an email saying that Amazon unfortunately had to cancel my order due to an issue. I don't know, I got the number on my credit card wrong or something. But it said if I wanted to reorder, just go in and reorder it. It went from $100, or no, it was $150 to almost everybody was sold out on it, and Amazon's price went to $375. So it went from $150 to I think it was $375, and I thought, oh, this is crazy. So I did a little looking around, and oddly enough, I went back to Anki Drive's own website, and they were marked them down to $99 to try and blow them out before Christmas. So I mean, you really, that is, I've seen many times that Amazon really keeps an eye on what's happening, and I'm sure something triggered with them that, everybody's sold out on this, let's ramp the price up, and sometimes it gets a little outrageous.
And just think if that was your paper towels and you just hit the button,
Yeah.
instead of being $5.99, it was
That's
$15.99.
what I'm saying. I don't know. So I went to Camel, and I put in the ATR 2100. We're going to talk about this tomorrow morning or Saturday morning on Ask the Podcast Coach. But that crazy microphone has gone in between a high of $64.20 and a low of $34.31.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a huge. I mean, percentage-wise, that's a gigantic swing between those two prices.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And it was just as high as 61 something, let's say 60. Maybe that's $59.99. And today it's at $39.99. So it's 20, and it dropped in one day from $59.99 to $39. It must have been a supply thing, or I don't know. But that's one of those kinds of things that's why you got to watch Amazon, right?
You'll see that with hard drives a lot too. You know, when we had that peak of hard drives costing a lot, I was watching Camel a lot, and I set a threshold. If the WD 2 terabyte black gets below this, let me know, because that's when it gets to be a reasonable price.
That's the way to do it.
It's so interesting, though, because when you talk about brand loyalty and us being loyal to one store, whether it's brick and mortar or online, what a better way. So you've seen Amazon with the Echo, and then now with the little buttons, they're becoming part of your habit in your home. You don't even have to leave, of where you get all of your supplies. And I even think of when I go out to get groceries, it's still up in the air on where I'm going. I got a Hy-Vee, a Target, and a Bag and Save within a few blocks, and I go different places all the time, just depending on where I'm driving home from and stuff like that. But if I start having these options to just always go to Amazon, and they make it so simple, they're going to start becoming that one and only place more than they already are. I mean, they already are that place for electronics. If I'm going to order anything, I'm going to go to Amazon. But if they can be that way with all of your other products as well, obviously food, that's going to be a hard one, anything like that. But with these sort of products, I think it's a great idea for Amazon. I mean, I think they're really going to start locking up their market.
Yeah, and other gyms saying Amazon watches your cookies too. They may be raising your prices while offering other person's for less. So in other words, if you just bought it or you bought it before or you've been watching it, they may offer you one price, but for someone who just started looking at it, they may offer a lower or a higher price.
No way.
Oh yeah, so that thing I posted on your site, the Toshiba USB drive for $49.99. When I first went to your link and just went out and searched on Toshiba drives, that one didn't come up. One came up for $59. So then I went back to the Cheapskate website and got the exact part number for it, went back through your affiliate link and popped it in, and then it was like way down at the bottom of the page, but finally it did come up as the $49 price. But I had to really dig around to find it, whereas the link on the Cheapskate site took it straight to it.
I feel like they're taking after the airlines. Feels like when you're searching for those flights, and it's the same sort of thing where you can't find the flight or the price changes. You go there 10 seconds later, and it's that same sort of feeling as shopping for flights.
Sold out.
Sold out, yep.
We have one seat left, and it's like,
and it's first class.
Me.
Sorry.
That's basically, you're screwing me. That's basically what. Well, but that's the game, right? And that's the retail game they're going to play. You know, what's scary is Walmart is making a big run at joining them in this, because they can. Now think about the power Walmart has with the local store that Amazon doesn't have. And imagine if Walmart could get their act together and sell like Amazon does. It could be crazy. That would be crazy.
Well, and so I'm putting a link in there. If you guys don't have one of these devices, you have to go buy one because it's $12 and it's the best $12 you'll ever spend in your life. It's more fun than anything you'll ever own. But to that kind of thing, so being local here, Target is doing a similar kind of thing, more from their app and being on your phone, and they want to kind of track what you're what you shop for. So basically, Jim, you walk into a Target store, their Wi-Fi picks up your phone and says, "Hey, welcome back. Last time you were here, this is what you bought. We noticed that when you were on Target.com, this is what you were looking for. Can we noticed you bought yogurt last time. We've got a different brand on sale this time. So they're trying to get to know you better and help guide you through that experience, but then also do some push marketing as well, so that during the week, things can be popped into your basket that you were shopping for and looking for. So,
well, and Walmart came out with that Genius app that you open it up and scan your receipt, and they check locally to see if they could find it anywhere locally what you just bought cheaper, and if it is, they refund you the difference, right?
Yep.
Immediately. Well, and so you think, man, they are being generous. Well, what they just did is they just got everything you bought attached to your ID, right? It was a super smart way. It's like a loyalty card without ever rewarding you for the loyalty card in real time. And it was genius, because it's like, now I'm incented. Yeah, boom, right there. I'm going to scan it. Now Walmart knows everything I just bought, who I am. They're able to aggregate that together, what location, what time, all that stuff is captured from them. And man, they got a ton of data on you now. I don't use that app, but they've got a ton. About a year ago, we used to grocery shop. Sarah and I used to grocery shop together. Every Saturday, 2 carts, because I have 5 kids, so it was a big deal. And we go down there, and I remember the Saturday, she's like, I think, because some of the kids had left, she goes, I think I can do this alone now. Oh, angels started singing from the heavens. And because I always had to sandblast, I take a sandblast shower every time I got back from Walmart. I was just like, I just feel so icky. But they are certainly Walmart's going after that. And man, what a piece of social engineering to get that done. You will gladly, for pennies, I bet the average consumer saves maybe a handful of nickels to beat that, but it attaches that receipt to an SSID or to your personal ID now. So that's freaking genius. Awesome.
And Nathaniel, before I forget, the issue you were having with cloning, Paragon does it 2 ways: the backup and recovery. I don't know if the free one. I think the free one might have it in there, but it's a disk copy or a partition copy. And they've always been. I've always had good luck with either that one or their more expensive package is their hard disk manager package. But I always had great luck with them being able to go from a big drive to a little drive, or a little drive to a big drive. It seems to really understand how to make the partition either get bigger or larger depending on which way you're going. So those are 2 I'd recommend.
Yeah, I just ran the Acronis that came free when I got a SSD notebook kit upgrade from Kingston, which is slick. Those kit upgrades they're super great. Here's the case to put your old drive in. Here's the cable. Here's the software. Do this, and it's done. So anyway, I tried that, and it appeared to work disk to disk. So I'm gonna see if that boots. But I was just really disappointed, because the whole point of having one of the Windows Home servers, it does those backups for you automatically that you're supposed to be able to recover from, and I just could not make it work. And all it could do is give me an error code, which I couldn't find a solution for.
Yep.
So I tried several different times, and I couldn't get Clonezilla to work because it had 3 partitions that wouldn't match up to a disk that was unpartitioned.
I think
could probably figure it out, but I just tried Acronis, and it seems to have worked. I got to try to reboot it, though.
I may be mixing issues, but on the home server site, I think it's come up several times where some of the guys have had to go in and partition the hard drive to match what the partitions were of the image that's coming back, and then it worked. And
I did that. I read some of the forums, and first I thought it was because I was using a 120 SSD and I had a mechanical 250, and then I said, well, this isn't working. So I tried a new installation, and it said, oh, you got to have a 160 gig drive, and I was okay. So I went and bought a 240 gig SSD, thinking, well, that will work. That didn't work, and then I tried a new install that worked and it had the 3 partitions, but then it wouldn't work through Windows Home Server, and it didn't work through Clonezilla because the partitions didn't match exactly 240 versus 250. So I was just like, crap. So that's why I tried Acronis, and it worked. And I think if I was doing a restore from previous version to the same disk, it would be no problem.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I was trying
think
to
you're right.
replace a mechanical drive with an SSD, and that's where it fell down.
Could have been.
Yep.
It's too bad they don't have a Windows Home Server MVP program anymore. There might be somebody who could help you with that if they hadn't just killed the program.
Well, I just assumed it worked, and
Yeah.
and I don't have a problem and then lose my data. I'm just trying to upgrade, and so it's
Yep.
good that I get to try it, and it just reminds you of that lesson of like backups are only good if you test them.
Yeah. Well, and I've completely given up on bare metal restore. I'm done with it. It's like I back up. I do an image backup, but it's only to be able to pull files off of that image if I
Yep.
need it in the future. Otherwise, it's going to get a clean install, and especially with Windows 8 and Windows 10, most of my personalization settings, which is why a lot of people did backup, and it's not perfect, right? People are
Yeah.
going to kill me for that one. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. It'll restore a lot of that stuff when you log in for the first time, and so there's just no need to get bare metal, but I get why people do. Hey, you guys hang around for 1 second. We're going to let you go. If you're listening live, thanks for hanging out for the last 2 hours. Yeah, last 2 hours on this, and this is some good content. It'll make something somewhere along the line. Folks can listen to it again. But if you're listening live, go do something interesting. Happy Good Friday, or Big Friday, apparently is what it's called now, to you. And I hope you have a happy Easter. Thanks for watching, guys.